Hey, what's up, YouTube? So I watched the Apple press conference earlier today, the iPhone 7 event that they had. It was great. I actually really like Apple's press conferences. I'll start by saying that you can pre-order the iPhone 7 on Friday, which is September 9th, and the pre-orders open at 12:01 a.m. Pacific time zone here in the US. It is available on September 16th. I actually may make a trip out to my local Apple store just to see what the chaos is. I've never actually been there before to see what people do, how they line up, but I don't know. I'm debating if I'm gonna go or not. Anyways, there are 5 different types of colors you can get. You have rose gold, gold, silver, black, and jet black. Now the jet black and the black to me are beautiful. They actually kind of hide the antenna lines a little better than the other colors do. I've always hated the antenna lines, and the antenna lines are a little different on this phone when compared to the iPhone 6s, which is a great thing because they're ugly on the iPhone 6s. I do think it's a little weird that the new iPhone has this, like, the phone actually kind of curves up and goes to the camera hump. On some colors it looks ugly, on some colors it looks better, like the jet black to me. So the jet black is only available on the 128 gig and the 256 gig. There's also a 32 gig. So all storage in this phone has been doubled. I think it's a little weird that Apple still has, like, the lowest storage is so low compared to the other models. So it's like 32 gigs and then you bump all the way up to 128 gigs, which is just a little weird to me. But it should be, I believe it should be 64, 128, 256, but that's just me. So the screen of the iPhone 7 is the same screen virtually, has a 4.7-inch display. It's Retina HD, so that means the resolution is 1334 by 750, and the pixel in the PPI is 326. Now for the iPhone 7s Plus, it is full HD 1080p, 1920 by 1080, and the pixel resolution is 401 PPI. Now the difference between the screen on the iPhone 7 and the iPhone 6s is that wide color gamut. You do have that nice wide color display on the iPhone 7, and they are using a P3 color space, so that means that it is cinema standard. And this phone is splash and water and dust resistant. That was something they talked about a lot on stage. You will see a lot of promo videos with people out in the rain on their iPhone and things like that. It'd be cool to see when the tech companies, when the tech websites get this phone to review. I would love to see just how splash and water resistant this is. But yes, it is splash and water and dust resistant. Now the chip inside this phone is an A10 Fusion chip. It is 64-bit architecture and it does have an embedded M10 motion coprocessor on it. The chip is quad core. It has 2 high-speed cores and 2 efficient lower-speed cores. And the phone is controlled by a power control module inside that will determine which core should be activated and which core should be shut down and how things run efficiently for battery. Now I do not know the clock speed of the chip or of the cores, but I can say that the lower speed cores, which are the high efficiency cores, do run at 1/5 the power of the high performance cores. And the GPU on this phone is 6 core, and that's worth noting as well. Now, to me, the camera on the iPhone 7 and 7 Plus are the real star of the show with this phone. It's 12 megapixels, and on stage, Phil did say that the pixels are a larger pixel. It does have an aperture of f1.8. Now, on the iPhone 7 Plus side of things, there are two 12 megapixel cameras. One camera is wide angle, and the other camera is telephoto. And the wide angle camera has the same aperture as the iPhone 7. It's an f1.8, and the telephoto aperture is an f2.8. Now, the optical zoom for the phone is 2x, so anything after 2x on the iPhone 7 Plus is a digital zoom. Now, you do not have an optical zoom on the iPhone 7, so everything's a digital zoom, but the digital zoom on the iPhone 7 Plus does go all the way up to 10x. Now, both phones do have optical image stabilization, and they do have this nice quad LED true tone flash, and there are 4 LED elements in the flash of the phone, so that's really nice. Trying to get nice skin tones that look nice and still true to color versus some flashes on other phones where the skin tones look a little crazy. Now, one of the coolest things about the camera on the iPhone 7 Plus, and if you are a camera person that really wants a nice quality camera on your cell phone, you would probably want to go with the iPhone 7 Plus. Of course, the iPhone 7's camera is beautiful, but the iPhone 7 Plus camera just has a little bit more things in there you can do, and the depth of field is one of them. On stage, they showed a lot of photos where they're portrait. You get to take portrait mode in order to get this to work. And They showed a lot of photos of portraits, and the background of the was very shallow. It's a shallow depth of field, and the bokeh was really nice looking to me on a cell phone. A lot of cell phones that try to do shallow depth of field, the bokeh is just a little fake and artificial looking, but the bokeh actually looked a lot better on this phone than I've seen on any other phone that has a shallow depth of field effect. So how they get this to work is that it's a mixture of hardware and software. Now go on your phone, you click on portrait, it's gonna switch over to your telephoto lens. Now on stage fill, so the telephoto lens was about 56 millimeters. It's gonna switch over to that lens, and some software and hardware stuff's gonna come and happen and make this effect happen. It looks really nice. Now I have some quotes from the presentation here from Phil. Now, what's Phil said on stage is that when you take a picture, the ISP, which is the image signal processor, is going to scan the scene, and it's going to use machine learning to recognize people and faces and then create a depth map of that image. Now, this works to keep the person in front in very sharp focus and to blur the back of everything around that person to look really nice. Now, some of the pictures they showed on stage look really nice. They showed this guy on stage who was a portrait, had the glasses on, and he never said this was taken with the iPhone 7 Plus. And honestly, I was sitting there watching, I was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure that was taken with the iPhone 7 Plus because it looks beautiful. And of course, they're going to show something like that on stage for their phone. They're going to show off their phone. Now, when he finally revealed it was from the iPhone 7 Plus, everybody clapped. It was a nice looking image. It would be nice to see what images people can get from this. I would love to see what the tech sites do with all of this craziness going on with the two cameras on this phone. It's a really nice camera. Now, video recording is basically the same. You have your 4K video at 30 frames per second. You have your 1080p video at 30 and 60 frames per second. Of course, you have your 720p video at 30 frames per second. And you do have support for slow-mo at 120 frames per second at 1080p and 240 frames per second at 720p. Now, this time around, the front-facing camera has been bumped up a bit too. You do have a 7-megapixel camera up front now that can do 1080p HD video recording, auto image stabilization and stuff like that is inside the phone. Now, the home button on this phone is not a real home button. It is not a physical home button. It is moving towards what Apple has been doing with their Mac products. Now, it does have that taptic engine in it, so it's force sensitive, and it will, shake and vibrate and do things like that to make it feel like you've actually pushed something down to let you know that it was registered as a touch, but there is no actual home button on this phone. Now, of course, the elephant in the room is the audio. Now, the phone does have 2 speakers and supports stereo. When you turn the phone in landscape mode, you do have a speaker on the left and the right because the speakers are on the top and the bottom of the phone. People say it sounds fantastic. Apple says it's 2 times the volume of the iPhone 6S. It'd be interesting to see what it sounds like. I would love to hear what it sounds like. But as we all knew, there is no headphone jack. Now, Apple is not the first company to get rid of the headphone jack on their phones. Earlier this year, Motorola got rid of the headphone jack on its Moto Z, and I really don't even know if they're the first company to do it. I doubt they're the first company to do it too. It does come with an adapter. If you were to lose that adapter, it is $10 to buy it from Apple, which is a decent little price. I was expecting it to be more. Apple likes to overprice things, to be honest, and so I was expecting it to be a little more, but it wasn't. It's $10, and I think it's a pretty fair price for it. But it is included in the phone, and you do have your Lightning headphones, your Lightning EarPods, as they call them, included in the phone as well. Now, in the future, Apple will be pushing these new AirPods. Apple has a weird naming scheme, in my opinion. And the new AirPods are wireless earpods, and they're grossly overpriced. But if you're into that sort of thing, you can get them. To me, they're ugly and they're grossly overpriced, but we'll see how they sound and turn out. So overall, I think the iPhone 7 looks nice. I like the specs. I think it's a beautiful looking device, especially that jet black is fantastic. Now the prices start at $649 for the iPhone 7 and $769 for the iPhone 7 Plus. And of course, those beginning prices are for the 32 gig model. With each upgrade on memory, you do have a $100 upgrade. So I would like to thank you guys for watching. I will see you in the next video. I don't know if I'll ever get a chance to review the iPhone 7, but hit that thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you liked it, and we'll talk more about tech later on. Peace.